This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now let's check in and see if CHARLEY-K1GZL is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Yes, Jim, I have beautiful copy, direct. My power's down a bit. It's raining. No, well, the rain is just starting to end under a half an inch. And we've had we've lost about 60% of our leaves are off the trees. But I'm copying you very well, Jim. 15 over 9. I'm copying you direct. Go ahead.
Roger, Charlie. I thought you was going to say you lost 50% of your power. I was going to say, well, it certainly is booming in here. We were on our local mag loop, and you were probably about a 10 over, and just had a little noise there in the background. So we switched over to Rochester SDR, and you're giving them about a 20 over. So we got rid of our noise. Roger.
Okay, Roger. I've got something that you might find interesting. A year and 1/2 ago, in other words, 18 months ago on tomorrow's date, and that brings us back to April 3rd, 2019. I had a guest in the shack, VK3 Mike Ontario. I had VK3MO. His home is northwest of Melbourne, Australia, and I make a mistake on the tape when I'm introducing him. I say Melbourne, Florida, but actually it was Melbourne, Australia. And I'd like to play a little bit of that interview when he was right here. And it was a very interesting situation that occurred while he was right in the shack. But first of all, here is Ian on this 2nd of October 2019 this morning in Melbourne, directly on 7150. Here he is.
Here. The Kilo 3 Mike Aussie in Melbourne. Good to hear, Charlie. And we've had a beautiful day. A beautiful sunny day. Got up to about 20 degrees Celsius.
Okay, now that was Ian. Morning. Here is Ian in the shack 1.5 years ago as of tomorrow's date. I think this is it here. And pardon me, it is not. It is April 3rd, 2019. This is K1GZL, and I have a guest in the shack here, VK3 Mexico, Ontario, who lives northwest of Melbourne, Florida there, and here he is.
Good evening, good morning, whatever it might happen to be. Yeah, it's a pleasure being here at Charlie's. We've just been outside looking at the antennas. Bit of snow coming down, pretty freezing cold. We just travelled down from Quebec City today. Had a beautiful drive. Clear weather. It's only when we got to Clarksville that the weather turned bad. It's lovely to be here and looking at Charlie's window across beautiful view, distant view down the hill, and very pleased to be here.
Ian, I hope that came through.
Roger, Charlie, had to switch around right there at the end. I was in Arlington for a moment and in Georgia for a moment. You were everywhere, but kind of fading out as I would get one. You were loud and then started to fade, so I wound up on my local antenna. But we got, I guess, about 95% of that. Roger?
Blizzard is what we call a squall. We call that a squall. In other words, an intense amount of snow coming down very quickly.
I got the double, sir.
I told him in 10 minutes it will be over, and I'm going to have to pull the shade down because the sun will be right back in our faces like it was a short time ago. And he says, that's most remarkable. And that actually happened. 10 minutes later, the shade came down, the sun was in our faces. Go ahead, Jim. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. We doubled there for part of that, but I did catch your interview with your Australian counterpart. That was good. We did have a fade right at the end of that, and I kind of went through my SDRs, and as I was going, as I would come up on one of the SDRs, it would be loud, and then it would fade, and I would go to the next one, and it was loud, and then fade, and I finally worked myself back to my local antenna, Roger.
Okay, well, how are you copying right now?
20 over on Rochester.
Okay, well, as I was mentioning, you probably missed it. Ian, right after I had gotten off, I had, he had talked, and I handed him the mic. Ian says, Charlie, we're having a blizzard. I said, well, no, Ian, it's a squall. That's an intense amount of snow coming down with high winds, but it won't last long. It'll last about 10 minutes, and the sun will be back down. I'll have to pull down the shade, and that's exactly what happened. The sun came out right through the window, and down came the shade to black it out. And that snow was up to our chest on the level ground when all this occurred. The older snow was still there. Go ahead.
Are you saying you had snow that was 5 feet or 5.5 feet deep?
Well, it was actually about 4.5. There was well over 45 inches of snow on the level ground on April 3rd, 2019, and Ian and his wife, his ex-wife Ruth, were absolutely flabbergasted. Amazing to see it. Go ahead.
Oh, Roger that. I just, I can't fathom that much snow in one place like that, Roger.
Well, this is snow country up here. This is snow country. Last October, we didn't have one flake of snow. Normally, we get about 10 to 15 inches in the month of October. And this October, it's beginning to look like eventually we'll get more snow. But there goes the phone. So back to you, Jim.
Roger, Charlie. Well, I see Destiny is calling you. It's probably our good friends from India or Pakistan with another amazing scam offer. I don't know. Anyway, this is KC9VKV, the Qso-Vlog net, and Charlie's answering the phone. Charlie, you there?
Yeah, I'll just let it ring because it's probably some kind of an ad or something. I'll get it later. Okay, Jim, it's a pleasure, and we'll catch you next week. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. 3's that way. That's Destiny calling now. Maybe. Have a good afternoon. Thanks for joining us, and we always appreciate your recordings and your contacts and all the information that you share with us. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, and I'm better known in some circles as Dr. VKV. And we're recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days, so when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, where we're running about 1,300 recorded Qso-Vlogs. And you'll be looking for one vlog in particular, and it would be my group Aircheck 10 to 20. And we have a new way of trying to access this. YouTube used to put it right on page 1, and it was fairly easy to find by using a call letter search, but now I find that sometimes they put it quite a bit lower than that into other areas that require a little treadway to get there. So I think if you do my group air check and then today's date, 10/2/20, that will take you right to this recording. So it would be a YouTube search for my group air check 10/2/20. Or you could use KC9VKV 10/2/20, and that would take you right to it. Anyway, we're recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.